when you look at the crowds today, you have maybe 5,000-6,000 people here. On the streets yesterday, 1 million people, 1 million Iranians in the street for the Ayatollah Khomeini. Does that not give you concern? Does that not make you afraid?
Because they are afraid, yeah, that's right. And most of the people don't say anything because they are afraid. And they are in silence, you know, they don't say anything.
Is this the silent majority of Iran out here now?
Yes, that's right.
Do you want the Shah to return?
Yes, Shah, return to the country.
What about you, Shah? Why do you want the Shah? Why does she want the Shah?
ما شاه میخوایم ما بیچاره این
شادی کشتنش حلاله کجای قرآن گفته
47 years we've been bleeding in the dark, under the shadow of the Islamic regime, with a stone-cold heart. They silenced our voices, they turned off our light. 58 days without internet, but we still fought the night. Our children took the streets, they raised their empty hands, and the world looked away. Do you understand? Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? Do you feel anything at all? Or did something break inside you while Iran answered the call? Do you know Europe? 42,000 lives, 2 days, that's all it took. Mothers and fathers and sons, did you even look? We stand with Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, our hope and voice. Millions behind him marching, he is our only choice. He only fights for freedom, democracy and human rights. But you mock him in your chambers while he fights for our lives, to pull us out of this darkness, this century-long night, while you sign deals with our killers and call it diplomatic right. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? They hang 60, 40 souls one by one, hanged within 4 months by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? Do you feel anything at all? Or did something break inside you while Iran answered the call? Do you know Europe? What happened to you, Europe? What made you so cold? What turned your heart to stone? while our story went untold. Is oil worth more than blood? Is silence worth the shame? Because while you negotiate with murderers, we are dying, calling your name. Do you know Europe? Do you know what's been done? Do you know Europe? 42,000 souls are gone, killed in 2 days by a regime drenched in blood. Do you know Europe? Or have you just given up? Do you know Europe? We are still here. We are still strong. Do you know Europe? How much longer? How much longer? How long? Do you know Europe?
To all of our friends around the world, under the yoke of the Islamic Republic, Iran is identified in your minds with terrorism, extremism, and poverty. The real Iran is a different Iran, a beautiful, peace-loving, and flourishing Iran. It is the Iran that existed before the Islamic Republic, and it is the Iran that will rise again from its ashes the day the Islamic Republic falls. So let me be clear about how a free Iran will act towards its neighbors and the world after the fall of this regime. In security and foreign policy, Iran's nuclear military program will end. Support for terrorist groups will cease immediately. A free Iran will work with regional and global partners to confront terrorism, organized crime, drug trafficking, and extremist Islamism. Iran will act as a friend and a stabilizing force in the region, and it will be a responsible partner in global security. In diplomacy, relations with the United States will be normalized, and our friendship with America and her people will be restored. The State of Israel will be recognized immediately. We will pursue the expansion of the Abraham Accords into the Cyrus Accords, bringing together a free Iran, Israel, and the Arab world. A new chapter will begin, grounded in mutual recognition, sovereignty, and national interest. In energy, Iran holds some of the largest oil and gas reserves in the world. A free Iran will become a reliable energy supplier to the free world. Policymaking will be transparent. Iran's actions will be responsible. Prices will be predictable. In transparency and governance, Iran will adopt and enforce international standards. Money laundering will be confronted. Organized corruption will be dismantled. Public institutions will answer to the people. In the economy, Iran is one of the world's last great untapped markets. Our population is educated, modern, with a diaspora that connects it to the four corners of the world. A democratic Iran will open its economy to trade, investment, and innovation, and Iran will seek to invest in the world. Opportunity will replace isolation. This is not an abstract vision. It is a practical one, grounded in national interest, stability, and cooperation. To achieve this, now is the time to stand with the Iranian people. The fall of the Islamic Republic and the establishment of a secular, democratic government in Iran will not only restore dignity to my people, it will benefit the region and the world. A free Iran will be a force for peace, for prosperity, and for partnership.
وقتی واسه غمنی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غمنی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه روبروم یه واژه یه هدف به نام انتقامه پشت سرم دعای مادر و تو دستم تفنگ بابامه رو زبونم اسم شاه بگین عشق بی انتهاست هر جا اسم ایران اومد اونجا صدای بچه رضاست فردا می نویسن تو کتاب قصه دیمار بگو با تیر جنگی کشتن بچه های بیگناه رو بگو از بخت مادرها شیر زنا و دخترامون بگو تنها شهید شدیم تا تنها نمونه شامون وقتی واسه غمنی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غمنی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم باز و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه وقتی واسه غمنی گرچه قصه هامون کم نیست
همه خسته این قبولم ما فرصتی واسه ماتم نیست روشن میشه فردا خورشید سرزمین ما سرم بالا و سینه سپر بلند میگم جاوید شاه
سلام من به تو یار قدیمی منم همون هوادار قدیم
سید سلام چطوری مردک کلی کتلت شدین دایی بدون مدرک سلام بسیجی قهرمان رفتی پیش توسی با پنیر و یه نون سنگک سلام به محفل قرآنیتون سلام به مدیرای بحرانیتون سلام به حاجی اکبر و طوله هاش و خارج و رفقای ارگانیتون سلام به دزدای پول ملت که تش میفتین توی تور ملت سلام به همه شما کرکسایی که دارین نونتون رو میزنین تو خون ملت ساکتش زیر دست و پاک و تک بخورین حالا هی به یه بادکنک بدوین سلام آخر تو زندان باشه وقتی قرار به این آب خنک بخورین مکبر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا اینو بگذاریم به خاک میرسیم تجزیه طلبی که به خاک بیرسیم ایران مردمش وطن پرستن از کرد تا بلوچ بری به فاک بیرسی توف به هر چی مرسی است توف به هر کی در پی تجزیه است توف به لوی و همونی که شیفته ی گل ملیگران تو وطن خدا نسلی هست سر کردستان همه برپا شدن بلوچستان فدای مهسا شدن شم واحد که شیر و خورشید ما بقی جعلی ها تنها شدن شادی باشه واسه همه در میهن کور بشه چه شهرچی اهریمن رخه رو بگید اون 6 کلاس سواد و خبرگان و مجد سری ترجیحن شبهای عروس و دامادی باشه برن سلامتی نوش کنن آبادی باشه لحظت کجاست میدون شهیاده به سمت اتوبان آزادی باشه سلام به نسل ندید پدیدا نبودیم ندیدیم قدیم مدیما شاه بود تو شادی کل میزدین حالا شاه بر میگرده پیک میزنین مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا مرگ بر ملا متولی ننگ در دنیا ننگ بر دوتا مجاهد چپی بعد از ملا
اگه به این خوشگلی با آیده بود اسم یه مشخواهن رو توش بیاریم ولی خب لازم بود دیگه فکر کنم بانو آیده
Let's go. میخوام بگم از دلم، از عشق به این میهنم، به امید روز شکست دشمن شاه برمیگرده به وطن. برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی، بلند بگو همشهری شاه رضا پهلوی. نظام رسیده پرتگاه، بلند بگو جاوید شاه. برگشت شاه به میهن، دوای درد وطن. این آخرین نبرده، پهلوی برمیگرده. داره میاد پهلوی، زجه بزن سید علی. راه نجات وطن، پهلوی هموطن. ایران میشه گلستان، شاه که بیاد به ایران. ایران که شاه نداره، حساب کتاب نداره. آخون باید گم بشه، توپ تانک فشفشه. گم شو بیرون اجنبی، داره میاد پهلوی. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. ما شاه میخوایم نه ملا، بذار بشنوه دنیا. ایرانی داد بزن، شاه تو فریاد بزن. برگشتن پهلوی، وحشت هر اجنبی. بلند بگو هموطن، شاه رضا پهلوی. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. فریاد بزن جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه. بلند بگو جاوید شاه، شعار هر وطن خواه.
Look at us here today. We see so many flags representing so many nations. We know we are not alone, and we thank you for being with us. For all people around the world who stand today in unity with the Iranian people, this is not just because it's good for us, and you do it out of compassion and care for our rights to liberty and justice and equality and human rights. But understand that it is in your best interest too, to have, unlike this regime that has been propagating terror and radicalism, we the people of Iran are peacemakers and not warmongers. We like to be friends, especially with the free world. We'd like to be able to have the best neighborly relationship with the people of our area and the region, with the Arab countries, with Israel, and all our other neighbors. We are fighting for justice, we're fighting for human rights, we are fighting for liberty, we're fighting to put an end to all sorts of discrimination. Because as an Iranian, I stand here to tell you that I've dedicated 47 years of my life because I think that my country deserves far better than what we have right now. Now understand that their best remedy is to support the people of Iran, because ultimately a free Iran will be your best partner, not just to bring stability and peace, but it will be in your best economic interest and opportunities. Together we can prosper again, and the world will be so different once the Iranian people are free. I am here to guarantee a transition to secular democratic future. I am committed to be that leader of transition for you, so we can one day have the final opportunity to decide the fate of our country through a democratic, transparent process, through the ballot box and free elections. And let's make sure that this time, especially the free nations of this world and their governments, stand on the right side of history.
Well, Durud, patriots, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to day 171 of Iran Revolution Live with your wonderful and amazing host, Mr. Armin NAVABI.
And your wonderful and amazing host, GOLDIE GHAMARI.
Thank you so much. Armin, how are you doing today?
Wow, overwhelmed. We have new statements for Princess of Pahlavi, posts by President Trump, videos by President Trump, the text of the Memorandum of Understanding. So many important things at the same time happening. I think we should start with Princess of Pahlavi.
Yes, absolutely. Let's just dive right in and get started.
Okay. I'm always, GOLDIE, always before the show, I'm very always interested to see what GOLDIE thinks, right? I was like, let's see what GOLDIE thinks about this. Always learning from GOLDIE. Okay, let's hear. Okay, so GOLDIE, Princess of Pahlavi posted this, and I'm dying to hear what you think. So he said, as it signs a memorandum of understanding for peace, the Islamic Republic just executed 2 more protesters from January 8th and 9th. This is the consequences of making a deal with a criminal regime. To do a deal with a regime that murdered more than 40,000 protesters in 2 days in January is morally wrong and strategically misguided. Dealing with this regime will fail, and we will all face the consequences. The regime's 47-year war against the Iranian people continues. Just as it has never made peace with its own citizens, it will never truly make peace with the world. The international community should back the people of Iran's fight for freedom, put them center in any negotiations and in their Iran policy. But let me be clear, with or without international support, this regime will fall. The people of Iran will liberate themselves from tyranny. So, guys, I'm going to post a link to this in the chat, because the one thing you could do to amplify the voices of the Iranian people is to amplify the voice of Princess of Pahlavi. So I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys to go and speak. So GOLDIE, a lot of people are saying that this shows that Princess of Pahlavi, so I want you to respond to it. I'm not like just saying what I'm hearing from other people, is that this post shows that Princess of Pahlavi is not at all happy with the direction of things that are going. And this is a criticism that he has right now with the direction that things are going. But what is your take?
Well, I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, you have to remember, King Reza Pahlavi represents the Iranian people and the interests of the Iranian people. President Trump represents the American people and the interests of the American people. And Prime Minister Netanyahu represents the Israeli people and the interests of the Israeli people. So, yeah, I mean, this is his statement. And it makes a lot of sense, because one of the reasons that for us Iranians, we want the Islamic regime to fall faster is because every day that the Islamic regime survives, they are executing Iranians. So that's why there is a sense of urgency from the Iranian side. And he's absolutely right. I mean, you can't make a deal with a regime that is literally calling for death, death to America and all of that. So, I guess it all goes back to what is the terms of the MOU and what's happening there. But I mean, he's absolutely correct. And ultimately, like, I 100% support His Royal Highness in everything he does and says. He's our leader, and he represents the Iranian nation and the Iranian interests. So, yeah, I'm sure you're probably taking notes so you can translate this and respond to your Persian speakers. Yeah, like that's how I would answer it. if I was you in your other live streams, and if this is the question that you're getting from people, that's how I would answer it if I was you. So yeah, take some notes on that. You can translate that to Persian. But ultimately, I think it's important to see what the terms of the MOU are.
Do you think this is a criticism from what President Trump is doing, or with the direction that the deal is going?
What do you mean by criticism?
Because people are saying that, Armin, you are supporting President Trump so much, but Prince Reza Pahlavi, this statement is very clear. Like, Armin, why are you going against what Prince Reza Pahlavi is saying? They're telling me that this is obviously a criticism of what President Trump is doing. That's what they tell me. So it's like, stop going against the direction of Prince Reza Pahlavi and making everything look like is good, given that Prince Reza Pahlavi is clearly saying that this is not he's not happy with what's happened.
I mean, I think that's a fair point to make. I mean, I don't know what you're saying in Persian or what you're saying in other live streams, but if that's the sense that you're giving people, I would say, yeah, maybe, focus on King Reza Pahlavi and what he's saying, right? Because like when I talk about geopolitics, I'm, analyzing and I'm providing, my own sort of interpretation, my background analysis on it. But I mean, again,
this is a criticism. This is a criticism of President Trump, then, in your opinion.
I didn't say that. I mean, I don't know if it's a criticism or not. It depends on.
It looks like a criticism.
Is it a criticism though? Because he's not actually attacking President Trump. He's laying out facts and information. He's saying what happens if you make a deal with the Islamic regime. That's what he's basically saying.
So I'm just telling you what other people's perceptions are, right? The reason why people are saying that they're perceiving this as a criticism is because he's saying that what's happening right now is because, so he's saying, look at this, he's saying, as it signs a memorandum of understanding for peace, the Islamic Republic just executed 2 more protesters from January 8th and January 9th. This is consequences of making a deal with criminal regime. So that sounds, he's saying that these people are dying because there's an attempt from making a deal right now.
Yeah. So to me, it looks like he's criticizing possibly whatever deal might be made in the future. I don't see this as him criticizing President Trump, right? Like, this is a thing people have to. No, but okay, let me finish, Armin, because I feel like you're freaking out a little bit. This is a thing people have to understand. Okay, let me just finish. Let me finish. Let me.
Don't tell me that I'm freaking out.
It seems like that a little bit, though.
I was very calm. I was asking very calm questions.
All right. Okay. So let me just finish what I'm saying. So, when it comes to politics and geopolitics, right? One thing that is very common is you can criticize or talk about or give your opinion or opine on various things without actually attacking the person, right? So, for example, whenever Pete Hegseth calls it the Arabian Gulf and not the Persian Gulf, I call that out. And I'm like, why are you saying that? That's incorrect. It's the Persian Gulf. It's always been the Persian Gulf, right? So you can criticize, an action or a concept or a policy, right? Without it being an attack. And so, I don't know what's happening in your Persian live streams, but if people are claiming that this is King Reza Pahlavi attacking President Trump, I 100% disagree with that, because that's not how politics works, right? You can criticize, you can give opinions, you can provide suggestions, you can provide feedback. So criticism is 100% okay. There is absolutely nothing wrong with criticism. And in fact, I think it's really important for someone like His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi to give his opinion and put it out there when he feels like things might not be going in the best way, especially when the Islamic regime is murdering innocent, unarmed Iranians every day. So, to answer your question, do I think he's criticizing President Trump? Absolutely not. Do I think that he's giving feedback and, criticism on, what he's seeing in the media? Yes, absolutely. And that's because His Royal Highness, as we all know, every single time the Islamic regime executes Iranians, it hurts him. It's, he takes it personally. So that's how I view this. And if anyone is going to start like this narrative or story that His Royal Highness is attacking President Trump, I think that's garbage. I think that's a garbage narrative because that's not how politics works. So there you go. That's my answer. It's not a criticism of President Trump. It's not an attack of President Trump. It's a criticism of the policy or the steps or whatever the case might be. And I think it would be incredibly damaging to say that this is like some sort of personal attack, because that's not how politics works, right? In politics, people are adults. They can put out their thoughts. They can put out their opinions, right? I mean, Senator Lindsey Graham has criticized certain things about this MOU. Mark Levin has criticized, but no one's claiming that they're attacking President Trump. So I think to use a different standard for His Royal Highness, I think it's inappropriate because it's not fair, right? Sure. That's how I view it. Does that clarify?
Okay, yeah, so personally, I think this is not an attack, but it is a criticism. And I think we should separate criticism from attacks. So this is definitely not an attack, but in my personal opinion, this is a criticism. And I think it's fair to criticizing President Trump is not an attack on Trump. And this is a criticism. And just to be clear, all I was doing at the beginning, I was just, it's not just my Persian channel, it's everywhere in Persian. I have every day, all day, most of the day, I'm noticing what the Iranian people are saying on the Persian, social media in Persian. And I just collected everything I've seen and most of the conversations that are being had here. And I think I was very calmly delivering what I think that I'm seeing at the Persian side everywhere. And I'm just trying to use the tools that I've developed over the years and the connections that I have to basically try to paint an accurate picture of what I'm seeing the Iranian people are saying. I wasn't trying to, do anything else.
I don't think there's anything wrong with this statement. I don't think this is an attack in any way, shape, or form. I think, His Royal Highness has, obviously every right to speak out on the best interests of the Iranian people, because he's our leader, he's our voice. So, criticism is very common in politics. Like, you're never going to align 100% on everything. I mean, even with what's going on right now, would I rather that President Trump just continue the boom booms instead of, working on this MOU? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Like, that's what I would rather prefer. But I mean, this is the way that he's going. So I'm trying to analyze it and I'm trying to, make sense of it. And, I do see where he's going with this. And so that's, where I come in. I try to give sort of my objective geopolitical analysis. And I try to keep, my personal bias out of it, at least on Iran Revolution Live. But that doesn't mean that I don't have my own personal opinions and feelings. But I would say, like, everything that His Royal Highness posted here, like, I 100% agree with him. And I mean, I support it 100%. And I don't see this as an attack in any way, shape, or form. However, what I do see is that the regimes are going to start putting out this narrative of, oh no, like, look at this, His Royal Highness is attacking President Trump. Oh no, like the revolution has failed, right? So I can see the regime people, the Arzashis, and even like the anti-Pahlavi people, they're going to claim that they're fighting now, which is absolutely not the case whatsoever. That's my read on the whole situation.
Yeah. Also, I completely agree that, you know, as Iranians, we our leader in this revolution is Prince Reza Pahlavi. So at the end of the day, he's the commander of our fight. And whenever we, Goldie, as she said, I completely agree that we aligned ourselves and foremost with our leader of our revolution. And I think that we're completely in agreement on that. Somebody in the chat saying, Armin, I'm getting tired of your attitude. I mean, I don't know what I did wrong. I just went and delivered. I thought it would be useful to capture, you know, I thought that's a resource that I have for you guys, is that because I spent so much time on the Persian side, I think you guys would find it helpful if I just brought a summary of everything I'm hearing from the Persian side, so you could get a understanding of what's going on that side. I thought that would be useful for you guys. So I don't know what's wrong with my attitude. I think I don't know what I did wrong.
No, I don't think you did anything wrong. It was just very much like, just, is this a criticism? Is this an attack? What's going on? And I'm like, okay, like, calm down. Like, let's go through this. And I'll kind of, you know, like, because
pretty sure I did not do that.
It's okay. But so here's the thing. What I'm getting from you is like the sense coming from the Persian side is that they see this and maybe some people are going to panic and think like there's maybe some sort of division that's created. That's not the case whatsoever, right? I think because we, as you know, Iranians, we're so used to dealing with the Islamic regime, and just, you know, it's such an extreme thing that, you know, any sort of like regular common criticism that you would find in Western politics, I feel like the Iranian people might panic a little bit and they'd be like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Like, what does this mean? What's happening? So I'm glad that you brought this concern. But I would say that's probably the best way to go back and explain that, is that this is, you know, not an attack. This is not like division. This is just, you know, this is something that happens very frequently in politics. And I would even say, you know, maybe share some of the recent posts by Senator Lindsey Graham, who has also kind of been criticizing the MOU, right?
Right.
And Senator Lindsey Graham is 100%, you know, pro-Trump, obviously, right? So that's, I think, the best way to sort of explain that and describe that to maybe your Iranian viewers, to, you know, kind of make the example of, you know, criticism versus like division or something like that.
Yeah, I have been doing exactly that. And I think I've been very effective at it at the Persian channel. Yeah. Every time I start a Persian channel, at the beginning, people are panicking. And at the end, people are a lot more calm. And I tell them, guys, voice your criticism. Make sure you're respectful. Make sure your criticism doesn't turn into an attack on President Trump. Be respectful. And I also tell them that if every time you're criticizing President Trump, make sure you start, I told them, put it in a sandwich. Start with the fact that we are so grateful for what President Trump has already done, and acknowledge that. Put your criticism in the middle, be respectful when you do that, and then also end it with another reminder that no president has ever done as much as President Trump to damage the Islamic Republic. So I tell them to use I tell them to use a sandwich model, and I also tell them, give them a list of how far we have come when it comes to defeating the Islamic Republic, and how this is obviously a victory. And a lot of people tell me on my Persian channel that every time they get nervous, they come to my Persian stream, they feel a lot better at the end of it. And I just told them, guys, like, every time you're criticizing President Trump, just think about this. If the Islamic Republic supporters are reading your post, would it make them happy? If it's making them happy, then that's a good indication that you're doing it wrong. Okay, I'm not telling you to don't voice your criticism, but put your criticism out there in a way that doesn't make pro-regime Iranians who would be reading your comment happy. That's the way you need to deliver your criticism. That's what I say on the Persian side.
I think that's excellent. And, you know, my rule when it comes to criticism, you know, as a former politician, is you know, criticize the policy, not the person, right? So criticizing policy is fair game, 100%. Like, that's normal. That's the whole point of, you know, being in a democracy, is to, you know, share your thoughts and opinions and ideas. So criticism is normal. But if, you know, people are asking if like this is King Reza Pahlavi attacking Trump, the answer is 100% no. Like that would be the wrong analysis to make.
Yeah, completely. I 100% agree. Thank you, Goldie. Thank you. I'm gonna take note on that as well. I'm gonna make sure I say that on the Persian channel. Thank you. Also, this is a post by President Trump. We have a lot of videos from President Trump, but before that, let's see the Truth Social post. President Trump posted this: Iran has agreed to never have a nuclear weapon. Also, the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $100 million, I think he meant billion here, so 100 billion. $100 billion is fake news put out by the Democrats, President Donald J. Trump. Yep. And a lot of people don't understand what the $300 billion is about. So they are, as soon as they saw that $300 billion, they're going around and saying like, oh, the United States is paying the Islamic Republic $300 billion, which is not at all happening. Where there is a $300 billion, but it's not that. It's not the idea that the United States is going to just pay them or anything like that. Do you want to add anything about this? This part, guys, I know President Trump has his reasons for posting certain comments. However, it's good to remind people here that the Islamic Republic, this is not important. Like the Islamic Republic had always agreed to never have nuclear weapons. The agreement from the Islamic Republic is worthless. Ali Khamenei, when he was alive, he had a fatwa against nuclear weapons. We never took that seriously. So if we didn't take Ali Khamenei's fatwa against nuclear weapons seriously, them agreeing not to have nuclear weapon, we don't take that seriously either. So when it comes to nuclear stuff, I'm pretty sure President Trump wants this as well, is to not trust the Islamic Republic, but actually make sure that we destroy the enriched uranium inside Iran, we dilute it and take it out, and also we destroy the Islamic Republic's ability to enrich uranium ever again, to the point that it will be so humiliating for them that it will cause more division within the Islamic Republic, but also to the point where their most important deterrence capability has been taken away from them, and they will become very vulnerable by losing that. So that's what we want. The agreement of not having a nuclear weapon, the Islamic Republic has never stopped saying that. They have always said, yeah, we agree not to have a nuclear weapon. So nothing about that has changed. Right? Goldie, do you agree with that? I think so. Yeah.
Have they always said that they've agreed to never have nuclear weapons? Because they've always said that uranium enrichment and acquiring nuclear weapons is their right. Am I missing something?
Yeah, no. They always have said that, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's go to here. President Trump had a whole bunch of videos regarding Iran. Let me make sure that I've starred every single one of them. Let's go to... Oh, this is important. But there's a whole bunch. So let's go from the first to last. All the Iran-related ones. Okay, let's go this one first. It's interesting because, guys, we're seeing a lot more from J.D. Vance and a lot less from Marco Rubio, which is interesting. Okay, let's see this one. So this is President Trump meeting with Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim. Let's watch this.
Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate you being here.
I hope the audio improves.
We've had a great meeting. We have a great relationship. The Emir is a fantastic man, respected all over the world.
Is this really the audio we're working with?
The volume's really low.
Yeah, what the hell? Let me see if I could boost it. No.
But we have to go to the Emir first. Do you agree, Mr. Prime Minister? But highly respected people, okay. Great people.
Okay, go.
And we work very well together. we have our deal done with Iran, and it should be successful. It goes to a second stage, which I think will be actually easier. I didn't want to attack them last week, but we had no choice. And we did it twice, actually. We were doing it a third time, and we were able to not have to do that. But we have a deal that's a fair deal. It's a good deal. We are not investing any money in Iran, by the way. That rumor got out there yesterday. It was ridiculous. We have the right to go in someday and do, if I want to do something, or somebody wants to do something, but we are not investing any money. We have no obligation to invest any money in Iran. Working with Qatar and the people of Qatar was really a pleasure. They were tough. They were strong. You know, they are the closest to Iran physically. So with other countries, I noticed I had to travel about 45 minutes to get there. With you, you could walk right across the border. So you were in a more dangerous position. But I do have to say, you fought and you helped us, and with great bravery. So I just want to compliment you on that. And you'll always be my friend.
Okay. So this one just was talking about they had a deal. Let's see what this one is about. Nope, not about Iran. Not about Iran. I think I starred all the ones that are about Iran. Oh, this one is about Iran. Let me see. This one I spoke with President Putin. Nope. This one, yeah, this one is about Iran.
I hope they do well. I hope they do well. Look, one thing, whether they do well or poorly, they can't have a nuclear weapon. That's a big thing. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have blown up Israel. They would have blown up the Middle East. And they probably would have taken a shot at us. We would have gotten them first, I think. But they would have done tremendous damage. Had we not canceled the Obama nuclear deal, the JCPOA, you would have had them having a nuclear weapon 5 years ago. You know, that expired. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. It was the dumbest deal I've ever seen, other than NAFTA. NAFTA maybe was even dumber. But just in terms of a bad deal for us. Paid them billions and billions of dollars. We pay nothing. They paid them billions of dollars. And it was a disaster. I terminated that in my first term. Had I not terminated, and we hit them hard, we terminated it. In my second term, we sent in the B-2 bombers, and we terminated their, I call it the nuclear dust, their enriched material, right? And totally effectively. And I remember when CNN, which is fake news, I don't know, he probably isn't, but CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't that effective. So the Atomic Energy just reported that it was one of the most devastating bombings that they've ever seen. The whole mountain collapsed on top of it. And frankly, to go get it, we're going to go get it. But to go get it is a big deal, because they say only China and us have the equipment where you can even get. The whole mountain is collapsed on top. We have cameras on it. You could make the case, why are you even bothering? Because it's not really valuable. It's, you know, it's probably $500,000 worth. It's not very valuable stuff. But I think psychologically we want to get it.
It is not very valuable to anyone else, but it is very valuable to the Islamic Republic. It's their most important deterrence capability, for sure. So also, like, one thing to remember is that it's not just psychological, because leaving the enriched uranium down there and then leaving saying that nobody could reach it, if that was ever offered as a solution, what the American voter would then ask itself is that, okay, but then Operation Midnight Hammer did the job. Like, why did we do Operation Epic Fury if the enriched uranium was already under all that rubble and they couldn't have access it? So Operation Epic Fury needs to produce for the American taxpayer something beyond leaving the enriched uranium under the rubble, which is getting it out. You know, you need to destroy it. You need to dilute it. And yeah, and remember, the Islamic Republic, we need the humiliation of getting the enriched uranium out of the Islamic Republic, and also the removal of that deterrence capability. Because even if the Islamic Republic cannot get it out of there, we have already confirmation from President Trump himself that the Chinese can, and the CCP has already proven to want to keep helping the Islamic Republic to survive. We saw it throughout this operations of throughout the Operation Economic Epic Fury that they have been sending missile components to and manpads to the Islamic Republic. So, guys, remember the CCP is responsible for American soldiers almost dying in Operation Epic Fury because the American planes came down with the advanced Chinese manpads that was given to the Islamic Republic, and also any other missile components that the CCP is giving to the Islamic Republic. Anybody like in Israel or United States or anywhere else in the Middle East die from that. That is basically the Chinese facilitating that on purpose. So, given that the Chinese were so eager to keep helping the Islamic Republic, even if the enriched uranium is under that rubble, and the Islamic Republic can't get it out, the CCP might actually help them to get it out. So there's that. So let's look at President Trump's comment regarding Israel and Lebanon here.
I hope they do well. I hope they do well. Look, one thing.
What are the expectations for Israel?
Okay, it's kind of messing up here.
Whether they do well.
What are the expectations for Israel? Can this deal survive if Israel attacks Lebanon?
It can, and I consider that the minor war. Iran's the big one, but we have a little pinprick out there that constantly rears its head, and that's Hezbollah. And, I was very responsible for Syria, and the man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done an amazing job of pulling it together.
Oh, wait, did I hear that right? President Trump is saying he put him in charge in Syria?
That's Hezbollah. And, I was very responsible for Syria, and the man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done an amazing job of pulling it.
He's not talking about Erdogan. He's talking about this other person that President Trump put there to work with
Jolani.
Jolani?
He's talking about Jolani.
Is he? Oh.
Is he? I mean, am I misunderstanding this, guys?
I don't know.
Seems like
maybe it's me.
Guys, is he talking about Jolani? Let's listen to this again. Okay, that's an incredible claim.
What are the expectations for Israel? Can this deal survive if Israel attacks Lebanon?
It can, and I consider that the minor war. Iran's the big one, but we have a little pinprick out there that constantly rears its head, and that's Hezbollah. And, I was very responsible for Syria, and the man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done it.
Wow, this is a very incredible claim he's saying that Jolani or al-Shara, he's saying that he's responsible for putting him there.
The man that's running Syria now is a person that I put there along with President Erdogan and some others. He's done an amazing job of pulling it together. He's not a Boy Scout, but he's done an amazing job of pulling it together. And he is very good with Hezbollah, does not like them. And I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
Okay, that is very unfair. Israel never knocks down an apartment.
There are a lot of people in those apartment houses.
Armin, I have to go for about 10 minutes because I'm doing an interview, but I'll be back. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay.
See you.
Yeah, keep on with this. I'll see you soon.
Okay, see you. Thank you, Goldie. Guys, this part is so unfair, I think. Let me know if I'm reading too much into this. Israel doesn't take apartment buildings down with civilians filled in there. That doesn't happen. Israel is not, I know civilians die sometimes, but Israel does more than any Israel's army, the IDF does more than any army in the world to try to reduce civilian casualties. This is Israel is not going around and just like shooting at civilians in Lebanon. And Israel, every time Israel attacks a building, it does everything in its power to make sure that civilians leave it before it does that.
And I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed.
Israel, it's not Israel that, first of all, Israel is not fighting Lebanon. Israel is fighting Hezbollah. And the reason why it's too long is because Hezbollah attacks Israel, and Israel is responsible for defending its civilians. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Like, this is very unfair to Israel. What do you guys think?
Does not like them, and I'll tell you what, Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed.
Hezbollah is fighting Israel for too long, and that's why too many people are being killed. Israel is just defending itself. Israel is very precise, and when it comes to attacking its enemy, and Israel has managed the lowest civilian to combatant ratios in kills than any other army on the planet.
And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you.
Yeah, that's why they send letters. That's why they have those knock-knock, the bombs that they blow up on top of the buildings to warn their civilians to get out. In fact, Israel has paid a huge price when it comes to trying to reduce the civilian casualties, because sometimes they're careful so much that terrorists manage to get away, and then they come and kill Israelis. Many people sometimes point out that Israel is actually too careful, like it's spending too much time trying to reduce civilian casualties, to the sense that so many times the terrorists that they were trying to kill get away. Right? I know, guys. I know, and I know you. I know some people are going to say, "Armin, this is just mind games," but this is not a good mind game, in my opinion, because we have an election coming up in Israel in October, and Bibi is getting, Bibi, like, this is not good for Bibi right now. Yeah, I'm saying it's not mind games. Wake up. I mean, I'm considering everything. I could tell you that I don't like this language against Israel. You guys, do you agree with me or not? Like, do you agree that this is not good language against Israel right now? Or am I reading too much into this? Like, let me say agree or disagree in the chat. I just want to see where you guys land here. I mean, like, yeah, I'm saying, why are you saying, Armin, do you have TDS? I know, yeah, you're joking. You guys know that I am very grateful to President Trump always for causing the most damage to the Islamic Republic than any other US president ever, right? I would, as an Iranian, I will forever be grateful for that, and I will always continue. Every time I say anything about President Trump, it would lead with that. Like, I will always, like, as an Iranian, I cannot express how grateful I am to that, right? So I don't think I have TDS if I point out that this is not fair to Israel. So I'm saying, Armin, quit it. Quit what? Quit what? Like, am I quit it? I mean, many people are agreeing with me in my chat. Quit expressing my opinion. Grateful of what? Oh, grateful of the fact that the Islamic Republic is weaker than it has ever been. Guys, I could basically be grateful for what President Trump has done, that, in my opinion, correct, and also criticize views that I think is incorrect at the same time. I think it's fair to do. I think it's both fair to do at the same time. Oh yeah, see, Texas troopers also a supporter of Trump is saying this, saying, Armin, these comments are what I was referring to earlier that made me unhappy with him. I wonder if he's being harsh because of who he's sitting with him. Well, I mean, this person who's sitting like this is the leader of Qatar. He could go F himself if he doesn't like President Trump being supportive of Israel. He could go F himself. Like, who the hell? Like, President Trump is the leader of the most powerful country in the world. He shouldn't be, adjusting his language because of this is a leader of a country who funded Hamas, right? This guy's country is responsible for funding October 7th. So he could go shove it with his opinion. Honestly, President Trump shouldn't care about his opinion. This guy is a funder of terrorism. This guy is a funder of October 7th. Yeah, I don't like it either. Guys, Israel is the moral ally of United States. Like, you cannot get better than Israel. United States is a powerful country because of its allies. And when it comes to allies, Israel is the role model. Like, Israel, it cannot get better than Israel. So if we want to encourage more countries to work with United States, we have to be more like Israel. Be more like Israel. Why can't you be more like Israel? So I think United States is in the best interest. It's America first for United States to demonstrate how favorable and how aligned with Israel they are. If you want to encourage more countries to be a proper ally, and you can't really get better than Israel, then I think you demonstrate that by treating the countries that are your best allies the best.
And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of.
Guys, again, I am doing the sandwich model because I'm also reminding people that I'm still grateful to President Trump. Again, remember, guys, as an Iranian, my priority is Iran, and I celebrate the fact that because President Trump is in the White House, the occupiers of my country are weaker than they have ever been. So I keep saying that, okay? I also am a proud Zionist, and I see Israel as not just an ally of United States, but also a main ally of the Iranian people. So obviously I care about Israel and how they're being treated as well. So I keep that in mind. And I can see both. I can see the fact that because of President Trump, I mean, imagine if a Democrat was in the White House, right? The Islamic Republic wouldn't be as weak as it is right now if a Democrat was in the White House. So I keep that in mind. But I also care about Israel. And if I think Israel is being treated unfairly, I will point that out. No, thank you, guys. I'll read the super chats when it's the Q&A time.
And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
Hold up. Okay, what? Did that? Wait. Hold up. Are we talking about Syria under the leadership of this former ISIS guy will do a better job than Israel? Come again. Let me listen to this again. Guys, no country could do a better job in destroying terrorists in the Middle East better than Israel. Okay, no country, like zero countries. Listen to this again.
Looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
To be honest with you, I don't think so. You guys, who here thinks that Syria, I mean, Syria has to first become a country actually before it could do anything. Syria has to be careful not to fall apart into 10 pieces before it could actually go out and take care of other countries' terrorist problems. Syria would do a better job against Hezbollah than Israel. I think I heard that wrong. I can't, let me actually play that again.
Let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it.
Yeah, no. They would not. No freaking way. Who here thinks that Syria would do a better job against Hezbollah compared to Israel? Honestly, I don't think United States, with all its military might, I don't think that they would be able to do as good of a job in Israel, in the Middle East compared to Israel. This is Israel's backyard. Okay, I don't think there's any army that would be able to deal with the terrorists in the Middle East better than Israel. There's not a single country that knows this neighborhood, knows these terrorists, and has the skills and the military infrastructure and the weapons to go out and blow up some terrorists. Nobody does it better than Israel. So we basically are now saying that Israel kills civilians on purpose by taking down buildings full of civilians just to kill one terrorist, which is not true. And we're also saying that Syria, that is on the verge of collapse every single day, with the leadership of this former ISIS Al-Qaeda guy, would do a better job against Hezbollah than Israel. That is really unfair, I think. That is unfair. That is an unfair statement. I don't know, guys, is this 5D chess? Because I don't know, is this 5D chess? Is this 5D chess? Is this is this like fake fighting, or is this like a just, if this is 5D chess, figure out another way to do 5D chess, because this is not good this has long-term consequences. This has putting these statements out there against Israel has long-term consequences for the international standing of Israel, especially from a Republican president. You guys think this is 5D? I don't know what kind of 5D chess we're playing here, but it's really hard to undo the damage that this does to Israel. Yeah, I will read the super chat soon. I see some of you are saying, yes, this is 5D chess. But do you guys agree that this is going to do, for Israel standing? I mean, we now officially have a U.S. president confirming, claiming that Israel basically kills civilians, which, and we're talking about an army that does more than any other army to reduce civilian casualties, right? But we now have that statement from a Republican president saying otherwise. So if this 5D chess is coming at a huge cost to Israel.
And I didn't like Syria. I didn't like where 2 hours before we're signing the agreement that there was an attack in Lebanon, in Beirut. It was right in, it wasn't like in the southern side, and it was in Beirut. I did not like that. I let them know that. I didn't like it, not at all. But I think that Syria, he's pulled out.
I liked it. Like, we should blow up terrorists whenever they dare attack your country. You should blow them up even 10 times more, right? So remember, guys, Marco Rubio said only stupid countries don't shoot back when they're shot at, right? That was his quote, right? Marco Rubio said only stupid countries don't shoot back when they're shot at.
Syria, he's pulled that country together amazingly quickly. He's very capable, and he's been very good for me. He's protected everything that I've asked for. He's done. And if Israel can't do the job without killing everyone else, they'll do the job. Syria will do the job.
What did
So
I miss?
Jolani, who used to, yeah. Yes.
So was it Jolani? Is that who he was referring to?
Yeah, it's Jolani, and President Trump is saying he will do a better job against Hezbollah compared to Israel.
What?
Yeah. And he also says Israel should stop blowing up buildings with civilians in there. You want to listen to it?
No, I think I caught some of it like right before I left, but
Or poorly. They can't have.
What are the expectations for
I don't know why.
Israel? Can this deal survive if Israel attacks?
I don't know why sometimes it just starts playing itself. Sorry. So, Goldie, the thing, my, criticism is that even if this is 5D chess, it's really bad for Israel's standing in the world. Like, basically saying that Israel is taking out buildings filled with civilians, even though IDF does more than any other army in the world to try to reduce civilian casualties, and saying that, Syria, with the leadership of Jolani, would do a better job against Hezbollah compared to Israel. I mean, I don't know what kind of 5D chess mind games we're playing here, but we have now the official statement from a Republican president, against Israel out there, especially right before the elections in Israel. So, which is, Prime Minister Netanyahu is already right now in Israel under so much pressure, and this will not help. So I don't know.
Why do you think this wouldn't help? I'm just trying to understand. So President Trump is saying that he thinks that Jolani, who's like a Durka jihadi terrorist, could do a better job of fighting other terrorists. Does Syria actually plan on going after Hezbollah?
I mean, they do hate Hezbollah, Jolani, right? But their military is like nothing compared to what Israel's capabilities are.
Okay, but theoretically, again, like listen, I'm just coming in based off of what you said, right? Like I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know, like
right.
this statement is just sort of coming out of context. But if theoretically, like if like the Syria, Jolani and his crew went after Hezbollah, and then Hezbollah was busy dealing with them, wouldn't that free up Israel's resources for other things?
Yeah, maybe, and then people can't criticize Israel. You get the Durkas against each other and divide and conquer.
Well, because then it's Durka versus Durka.
Right. Yeah, that could be the 5D chess that is being played here. And
I mean, not everything is necessarily 5D chess, but I mean, I would say that there's definitely more going on behind the scenes. We just don't know it yet. And I mean, it's interesting to see that. I mean, Marco Rubio is sitting on President Trump's, right beside him off screen. They're also like in front of Qatar, right?
Yeah,
like
this is
with
Qatar.
Qatar.
Right,
I'm trying to remember what's oh my gosh, I can't remember all of the like relationships between all the jihadis now because my focus has been mostly on Iran. But what's the relationship between Qatar and Jolani right now? Are they good or not?
So Qatar is Muslim Brotherhood. Turkey is Muslim Brotherhood. Turkey has been supporting Jolani, and Qatar and Turkey are pretty much aligned because they're both Muslim Brotherhood.
Right, they're Muslim Brotherhood. Okay.
Right.
I mean, I honestly, like, for me, it's too soon to make an assessment. I would, like, I'm probably gonna, like, later on, like, watch this entire thing. But, like, I think sometimes it's too soon to make an assessment. But, I mean, the fact that Marco Rubio is sitting beside him, and Marco Rubio has spoken out quite strongly against, terrorists and the Islamic regime and all that stuff. Ultimately, like you never know what President Trump is going to do, right? So I would say is, you can't look at this within just the context of a clip. Yeah, Marco Rubio, guys. So in this shot, Marco Rubio is sitting just to the left of President Trump. Literally, just like you could, if I remove the comments, you could see his shoe. So in the bottom right corner of your screen, that's Marco Rubio's shoe. So Marco Rubio is sitting right there. Whenever President Trump is saying stuff like this, but Marco Rubio is right there, that gives me peace of mind because Marco Rubio has been very outspoken about these things. So I would say whatever's happening here, I would say it's probably too soon to tell and too soon to judge what's going on. That's my, just analysis of it coming in. But I don't.
That's a really good point, Goldie. The thing that I don't like is that whatever plan they have, which might be a really good plan, the thing is that this is doing damage. The statement by itself is doing damage to Israel, even if that long-term plan makes sense. Putting these two statements out there is just not good for Israel. Is
it actually doing damage to Israel, though? Like, what did he say that's doing damage to Israel?
Well, I mean, if I don't want to, that would be a long stream, because if you actually go right now and follow the internal politics in Israel, this is like, because I am also doing a lot of shows with Israelis about the internal politics of Israel, and the Israelis are really, really frustrated. Most of them are very, very frustrated with President Trump and the idea that BB is being controlled by President Trump and the upcoming elections. One of the major concerns in the upcoming elections in Israel right now is that President Trump is attacking Israel. President Trump is attacking BB. BB seems to be just giving in to President Trump's demands. Israel seems to be being controlled by the United States, and it's not being allowed to defend itself properly. So there's these two statements is going to add a lot of fuel to that fire, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like at the same time, when I was on Piers Morgan yesterday, all the jihadi, TDS people, they were claiming that President Trump is controlled by Netanyahu, and Israel controls the United States. So ultimately, people are going to be dealing with these conspiracy theory narratives, right? Like whether it's Trump controlling Israel or Netanyahu controlling America, right? Like it's just, these things are out there. I would say, if anything, again, I honestly, this is just looking at this, it's too early and too soon for me to judge what's going on because, I haven't watched the full thing. And then even if I was going to watch this, it's like a short clip that's sort of out of context of the entire thing. But again, Marco Rubio is standing, sitting there beside President Trump. Marco Rubio has made it very clear, where his thoughts are. And ultimately, we don't know what the ultimate plan is. We don't know what President Trump is, saying or doing at this moment. We can just provide analysis and commentary. But I don't, I just feel like with geopolitics, I don't know, it's become so toxic that people will take a statement and then they'll just blow it up and they'll freak out over one statement, right? Like we can just, let's just analyze things without, I don't know, blowing it up into something wild. That's all I can say at this point. Mm-hmm. But I'd have to go and watch the full thing because again, this is more about Syria and, my focus is really Iran and, that's sort of So I can't give too much comment on this. Like I'd have to go look into this because, the focus for me is Iran, and he's talking about Syria here. So I'd have to do a little bit of research into what's happening.
Yeah. So one thing about Syria that I think everybody needs to know is that Syria is not united in any shape or form. So they're not going to be an effective force. If they're lucky, they get to keep their country intact, right? But it is true that having Hezbollah worry about, I don't know, Jolani's forces would be good. So I might be wrong about this, but I wish that we could bring that about without, speaking ill of Israel and Bibi, because I think Israel has done a beautiful job decapitating terrorists around the region. Like just ever since October 7th, if you like what Israel has been a very, very effective force. And I think they need to be congratulated for that. The IDF especially. One good news, by the way, for people who are thinking about Iran, though, is that in Israel, there's a lot of division right now in Israel, but not about Iran. In Israel, people are divided over, United States. There's a lot of division over, the ultra orthodox serving in the military or not. There's a lot of division regarding the judicial reform, but over Iran there's no division. Over Iran, Israelis are very, very on the same page that they need to go F up the Islamic Republic, like maximum aggression towards the Islamic Republic. So on that point, whoever becomes the prime minister, they are going to have a maximum aggression towards the Islamic Republic, no matter who becomes prime minister. So on that front, we we Iranian people are very lucky that the Israelis are not divided on that. Issue. So
the other thing as well I want to point out, and this is just, now that I'm thinking about this a little bit more, because my mind hasn't been on Syria. Again, this is, Iran Revolution Live. The focus is Iran. But just very quickly, given the fact that Qatar is, Qatar has a vested interest in keeping the Islamic regime around. President Trump knows that. So isn't it interesting that President Trump is now saying in front of the Emir of Qatar that, Israel's not doing a great job. Why don't we send in Jolani to go after Hezbollah, knowing full well that Hezbollah is a proxy of the Islamic regime, and that one of the, so this actually could possibly go into the terms of the deal, because the Islamic regime is saying that, okay, well, if you want a peace deal, Israel has to stop attacking Hezbollah. Okay, so President Trump says, sure, all right, Israel will stop attacking Hezbollah. We're going to send in Jolani instead to attack Hezbollah. That could be the other angle. I don't know. It's too soon to tell, but that could be part of it. And then given that Jolani is supported by Qatar, right, that's pretty much putting Qatar in an awkward place, because then the Islamic regime is going to go to Qatar and be like, what the heck? What the heck? Like, we were using Israel as a scapegoat to not sign the peace deal with President Trump. Well, now that President Trump is basically saying, okay, no more Israel, now you're sending in your people to, so it's Durka versus Durka. And then the Islamic regime can't blame Israel or use Israel as sort of a scapegoat for, not having peace or something. I mean, that would be sort of my initial assessment, because, Hezbollah is very important to the Islamic regime, and Qatar and the Islamic regime are, close. So President Trump putting these two actors against one another through their proxies is very interesting. That's my initial assessment. I'd have to go back and take a look and, watch the whole thing.
That would be that's exactly the 5D chess plan that if it works would be beautiful. The only that would be amazing if you're like, oh, okay, fine, Israel won't attack, but Jolani will. The thing is that I don't think Israel is going to hold back against Hezbollah. Like, I don't think Israel is going to be like, okay, we're going to not attack Hezbollah, let Jolani do it. So I don't think Israel will hold.
Nor should they. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, like you asked me, why do you think President Trump is saying this? And I gave you sort of what I think might be happening here.
Of course.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, I literally said this on live news like last week. Someone asked me about Israel going after Hezbollah, and I said Israel 100% has a right to defend itself, and I support Israel defending itself against Hezbollah, the Islamic regime proxy. So
I was almost done saying this. I wasn't disagreeing with you, by the way. I was just adding to it. Like I wasn't.
No,
saying
I know, but I'm saying like the analysis that I'm giving doesn't include Israel. Right. It's just like I'm thinking like when I look at the chessboard, I'm thinking, okay, if this actually is making it kind of awkward for the Emir of Qatar right now, because the Emir of Qatar has these backdoor deals with the Islamic regime, and Qatar has a vested interest in keeping the Islamic regime around. So President Trump saying this in front of Qatar, saying, yeah, maybe we'll send Jolani to go after Hezbollah instead of Israel. Jolani will do a better job than so President Trump. So by saying this, like, so if when he says Syria will do a better job, that's not necessarily a hit against Israel. What he means is like Syria will do a better job of eradicating Hezbollah. So President Trump is pretty much implying that he still wants to destroy Hezbollah, but maybe Syria can now do it through Qatar, and that makes the Qataris very uncomfortable.
Okay, can I add my analysis?
Sure.
Like I will finish it from beginning to end. So thank you for that. That makes a lot of sense. I'm just adding to that. I'm not negating anything you're saying. I'm saying that it would be amazing if we see Durka fighting Durka, makes both sides weaker, makes Hezbollah weaker for sure. I'm just adding on top of that obviously I don't think Israel is going to stop attacking Hezbollah, which again, it's not a negation of anything you're saying. I also think that whatever plan there is to get, I don't know, Jolani attack Hezbollah, whether even if the intention of saying all of this is not to attack Israel, given what I know about the internal politics of Israel, this is going to be not helpful to Israel right now. The statements being put out there. So if this is the only way to maybe get something like this happening, then so be it, because obviously getting more forces against Hezbollah would obviously be positive. I just wish there was a way to get that done without having the most powerful man in the world making these statements against Israel. If there is no other way to get there, I guess, so be it. But I just wish there was a way that it involved that we didn't have these statements now officially out there of a Republican president making such claims against Israel. I just think it's really unfair to Israel, given that Israel there's two main points that we got from here. One is that Israel it kills civilians, and that is basically completely opposite from the truth. Israel does more than any other army to try to avoid civilian casualties. And also they have a claim that Israel, like a country as weak as Syria, could do a better job than Israel to fight Hezbollah. And again, that could not be further from the truth. Nobody would do a better job than Israel against Hezbollah. So if this is meant for another plan that we could we'll find out later, including exactly what Goldie says, I understand that. I just wish that we didn't have these two statements from a Republican president out there against Israel. And I do think that these words do have when geopolitics, guys, these words out there have consequences. Like if you want to understand geopolitics, having these statements out there against Israel are not without consequences against Israel. It will bring it lowers their standing globally and also internally within Israel. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure there is a bigger plan here, so I'm not dismissing that. Let's go to this one. And okay, I know we're in Q&A time, but I think it's important. These are such historic and important videos. So let me just finish them before we go to the Q&A. Each one of these is like really important right now.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. I just want to say His Highness is a warrior. He was in there fighting, and he does what has to be done, and he's known for it. He's a courageous man. He's got a great country. It's a fantastic country, and they've been with the United States for a long time, but I would say much more so since I came on board, I will say. They've invested trillions of dollars in the United States, and I was telling them before in another meeting that we have over $19 trillion being invested in the United States, which is a record. And it's building factories, car plants, everything. We're doing things that have never been done. The record was $3 billion many years ago with a different country. And we're going to be over 19. I think we'll head to $19.3 trillion. So there's probably not going to be anything. Maybe we'll do better next year. I don't know if it can. I don't know if you can do better. But I just want to say that the relationship has been outstanding. He's a man of great respect. Everybody respects him, and they respect your country. And it's an honor to be with you. And we just signed a deal with Iran. And
they promised $1 trillion. The $1 trillion hasn't been spent yet. It's interesting to see if they're going to have $1 trillion after all the economic damage that they had to experience because of the lack of confidence that the tourism. We're going to see a drop in tourism. We're going to see a drop in investment. We're going to see a drop in trade in the UAE for years to come because of the new understanding of what the reality in this neighborhood is like. So I wonder if they could afford, they didn't actually invest the $1 trillion. They just said one day we will. So we'll see if they could afford that now after all of this, Islamic Republic basically causing this much insecurity around in the UAE. We'll see if they could actually afford anything like that.
Respects him, and they respect your country. And it's an honor to be with you. And we just signed a deal with Iran, and this country was very, very a very powerful ally, and good things are happening. The ships are starting to move now. We're going to have it fully open by Friday. The ships are starting to move nicely. Oil is starting to go, and the prices are coming down rapidly. Stock market is going up rapidly. A lot of good things are happening, and most importantly, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. That was how I got involved in this. We can't let that happen. So they will not have a nuclear weapon.
Okay. Let's see. There's another one. This has Iran in it. Iran. This has Iran in it. Let's watch this.
What should we expect from the second stage of the negotiation from this memorandum?
I don't know. It's a 60-day period or so. I think it's going to happen fairly on time. We've been both involved. I think they're going to want to get it done. Iran wants to get it done. They have to get back to business. And the relationship is now normalized. So I think it's going to go pretty quickly, Steve. Could go faster. Could take longer, too, but it could go faster.
Okay. Let's do... This one is Iran related. Yep, Iran related.
It's a very important document. And
oh, look. Goldie's always right. Rubio was sitting here.
It's a very important document, and unlike Obama,
who's this guy?
Could have destroyed the Middle
Arab
East.
guy. Who's he?
UAE.
Oh, good. I'm glad Scott Bessent is there too, because UAE also sanctioned. Scott Bessent sanctioned a bunch of UAE companies and banks that were funneling money for the Islamic regime. So again, having Marco Rubio and Scott Bessent sit right there across from the UAE people, and the UAE have been secretly laundering money for the Islamic regime, that sends a message. There's a reason Scott Bessent's there.
Cool. Let's listen to the rest.
With a horrible JCPOA It is the worst agreement. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. Mine is a wall against a nuclear weapon. I mean, I see these people say, but we already had one. He paid a fortune for it. We pay nothing. We don't pay. There was some statement, we're going to spend $300 billion. No, we're not. We're allowed to go and invest if we wanted to someday in the future. We have no obligation whatsoever. It could be that Iran will turn out to be successful one day. They have oil. But if we left a week ago, just left, before the last two attacks, it would have taken them 20 years to rebuild Iran. So, but I'll go over the document with the media in a couple of days. It's a very important document. And
so, yeah, guys, we're going to be reviewing the document, the MOU, in our discussion group in 45 minutes. So if you want to go over the MOU with us, come join our discussion
It hasn't
group.
been released. How are you reviewing it?
Syed Qasemi just said that let me show you. Syed Qasemi just said this is the text. So I'm assuming that's what he means.
Okay.
Okay. Where was I? Sorry. Okay. You know what? Let me just go to, I think that was the last one. Let's just go to Q&A. Okay, guys, Q&A session. Sorry for the delay. I'll try to go through this fast. Fleshy Interloper saying, cynical question, MOU done so UK, France, Germany, Japan, and China will patrol Strait? Guys, nothing. So here's the thing. The MOU done doesn't tell us anything about what's going to happen, okay? The only thing that is going to tell us about what's going to happen is for us to wait and see what's going to happen, right? Everything is so up and down right now that the only thing you could judge regarding what's going to judge is what the stuff that has already happened, right? Everything is up in the air. The MOU might not actually change anyone's behavior. We might basically just extending the fiery ceasefire, and we might just be seeing Israel pounding Hezbollah and boom booms in the Persian Gulf as if there was no MOU signed. Everything might just be the same as before. The major thing that has changed already is that the MOU has humiliated the regime and has caused a lot of internal division in there. But we might, when it comes to what could happen, we might go to full military kinetic escalations right in the middle of the 60-day period. Things might die down. Things might be at the same level. So regarding what will happen, we just have to wait and see what will happen. A lot of these things are basically wait and see, kind of situation. So predicting the future, we can. I think the best thing we could do is try to judge what's already happening and how we need to be responding accordingly. I think that's the most helpful thing that we could focus on right now. And then we got another super chat. Thank you so much from Nacho. Nacho is saying, your opinion, Mossad was killing Basij at checkpoints and all we saw was Rubio, Qatar and Saudi got involved and we got a ceasefire. Now Rubio and lots of Vance. Qatar is not trustworthy. Yeah, Qatar is not trustworthy. I do think that it's true that President Trump gets Rubio more involved when we're doing aggression, and Vance more involved when he's doing mind control, I don't know, maybe ceasefire negotiations. I've do noticed that in different periods you see, more of them. Even if they are there, you could notice who's speaking more. Sometimes Vance is there, but he's not speaking, and Rubio is speaking more. Sometimes Rubio is there, but he's not speaking as much, and Vance is speaking more. And you could see, based on the strategy at that time, it's very telling that it's somewhat correlated with who's speaking more often, which is interesting. Let me know, guys, in the chat if you see. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just going to say there's a Rumble rant as well that I want to go to from Tolkor.
Okay. Of course, let's do that.
Sure. So Tolkor says, do you think it's possible that Pahlavi is refusing help from Trump, that there's an inherited distrust of American diplomacy and the Pahlavi family and the desire to retain sovereign independence? No, absolutely not. There's no inherited distrust. I don't think he's refusing help. I don't see that whatsoever. In fact, prior to 1979, the Pahlavi family, they were actually very close and had a great relationship with Republicans. So, there is inherent distrust when it comes to the Democrats, but not when it comes to Republicans. So no, I would say that that's not the case whatsoever. But thank you for the Rumble rant, Tolkor. Okay.
Yes. Thank you for that. Angry Keyboard Warrior with a super chat saying, if you had to guess what percentage of the regime supporters are against the deal, what percentage of the regime supporters? Here's an interesting thing. Most of the regime supporters that we hear from are middle class and upper class. There's a huge portion of regime supporters that are in rural area and they're very poor, and we don't hear from them as much. And it's interesting because a lot of those people are Ahmadinejad fans. But they're politically less involved because they don't have access, they're not as seen. So when we're talking about regime supporters, the ones that are politically active, we're talking the ones mainly in the cities and the people who are in the middle and upper class regime supporters. And, if I had to guess, I mean, it's really, if I had to guess, I would say most of them are against, most of them are against the deal. But by what percentage, we don't have any data. But it's social media comments is not a scientifically collected data to rely on. But when you go on social media, you can see the vast, the anti-deal comments in social media social media groups that are pro-regime. The anti-deal comments are dominating. So I don't know if that tells you anything. Again, that's not scientifically collected data or analyzed scientifically, but I could tell you that's all I could tell you, that the comments against the deal is dominating. Halda, thank you so much for the super chat saying, Armin, you are right on Pahlavi's post. America made a deal with the regime. No, there's no deal, Halda. There's no deal. There's an MOU. And the MOU is not a deal. And the MOU is very, very far away from a deal. Very far from a deal. So I don't think there is a deal. And the MOU is supposed to create a framework to get to a deal, but we are as far away from a deal as we have ever been before, right? I'm saying, and it was unethical. I don't want to call it unethical. Saying regardless of rules, it has gone too far. Well, I called it, come and bring this up. I know you're in the discussion group, so let's talk about it there. I personally think that we have gained a lot of benefit from this, strategic mind games that President Trump has been playing with the Islamic Republic. I do think that I think both Princes of Pahlavi and President Trump are doing what they're supposed to do based on what their internal politics demands. That's what I think. And I think explaining that is it's going to take very long. And so, if you wanted me to break it down in the discussion group, I think that sometimes we see criticism and we think this is an attack, but I think it's completely, it's an understanding of this is the proper position based on your internal politics right now. And sometimes, United States and Iranian people have a lot of mutually aligned goals. But obviously it's not always 100%, right? So I'll go into a lot more detail in the discussion group if you want to ask me about that there. All right, and then we have Fushsa. Thank you so much for the super chat. Fushsa saying, Armin, you're right, criticism is okay, and you're right. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, criticism is not an attack, and I think, but I do think that if we want to provide criticism, we have to provide it in a way that doesn't make the Islamic Republic happy, right? So if we criticize President Trump, we have to put it in a way that cannot be taken advantage of by the Islamic Republic. So I think we should provide our criticism, but we have to be careful about how we word it and how we deliver it. Let me know, guys, if you agree with that, by the way. Thank you so much for the super chat. Texan, thank you so much for the super chat, saying Trump negotiating with the IRGC just doesn't sit well with me. It kind of feels like he's slowly turning on Israel and the Iranian people, for that matter. So, Texan, one thing I want to remind you that the Allies were talking to the Nazis until the very last second that they fell. So they're negotiating with your enemy, even if they're very, very evil, is not necessarily inherently a bad thing. How you're negotiating with them, it could be good or bad, but United States was talking to Imperial Japan right before and after they dropped 2 atomic bombs on them. Just because you're talking to them, it doesn't mean that you're not going to show aggression against them. United States was talking to Hitler right before, until the very last second. It doesn't mean that they were, becoming friends with him just because they were talking to him, right? So it's about the type of negotiations rather than negotiations at all, right?
Texan, also don't forget that literally 12 hours before Khamenei was exterminated on February 28, 12 hours before that, President Trump said that, they're going to continue the negotiations on Monday. And he said, let's see how things go. So he said, we're going to continue the talks. And then 12 hours later, the supreme dictator of the Islamic regime was dead. So it's very important, like Armin was saying, to recognize and understand that talking does not necessarily mean legitimizing. And Marco Rubio actually mentioned this a few months ago. I think it was in a press conference somewhere else, see if I can find it. But he said, just because we're talking with our enemies doesn't mean that we're legitimizing them or endorsing them. Talking it basically just means communicating and getting the message across. So Armin's absolutely correct there.
Oh, thank you, Goldie. By the way, Goldie, I just want to repeat that, I really admire you and appreciate your takes, always. And nothing is ever going to change that. Nothing is ever going to change.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. No, that was a fantastic answer. But let's go to the rest of the super chats because we have quite a bit.
Ooh, okay. Fickle Nut saying, we are passionate bunch here in the chat and we all want the same thing. The end of the Islamic Republic. Godspeed to the immortal guards of the immortal God and His Royal Highness. Very important point, guys. Even if we disagree sometimes on details, we're on the same side. The more united we are, the closer we are to victory. The more divided our enemy is, the closer we are to victory. So if we are enjoying the division among our enemy, make sure that we don't give them the same joy. Okay? Don't give our enemy the same joy that we get out of seeing them divided. Let's keep disagreeing, but at the end of the day, we are on the same side. We need to stay united. Thank you. Great reminder. Halda, thank you so much for the super chat saying, Armin, this chat should include an America's perspective of Trump and American politics. Right now, the view is skewed as it only a lens looking in. I think there's many Americans here. Perspective of Trump. Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, we're trying to get more and more diverse opinions included here. So I'll keep that in mind. More Americans. Okay. Keep in mind this hour has more people in the Middle East awake and more people in Europe awake. And when Goldie goes live later, and when I go live later on Liberty Politics and Goldie on Goldie's channel, we're gonna get more Americans at later hours. That's why you see that the percentage of the Americans in the chat increases in the later live streams. And thank you, Hulda. Roman Viking with a super chat saying, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi criticized that excessive Jewish lobbying in the US could ultimately harm Israel's interests. Thoughts? Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was a friend of Israel, and he did have some opinions. I saw that video Goldie, you know what this video is referring to?
Yeah, I've actually spoken about it several times. So basically, what Reza Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Shahanshah Arya Mehr, was saying is that often, sometimes the interests of American Jews might not necessarily align with the interests of Israel. And he was just cautioning that, the interests of American Jews might sometimes work not in the best interests of Israel because they're American Jews. So that's all it was, which makes total perfect sense. It's like with any other country. You could say the same thing about the interests of, I don't know, Iranian Americans and, the interests of the Islamic regime right now. Like the interests of the Iranian Americans who want freedom don't line up with the interests of the Islamic regime. So unfortunately, a lot of the, pro-Pali or the terrorists or the jihadis, they've taken that video, they've clipped it out of context, and they're like, oh, you see, like the Shah hated Jews. No, it had nothing to do with that. He was speaking about American lobby groups and how sometimes they might negatively impact the interests of other countries, for example, Israel. That's all there is to it. Very simple.
Goldie, I think for so many years, this comment by Mohammad Reza Shah seemed bad until his prediction became true. Because many American Jews are leftist, anti-Israeli leftists. Not all, like many of them aren't.
I save that, Armin. I would save that for a different live stream. Like this is just a focus on Iran. I don't know if many American Jews are anti-Israel leftists, whatever. I have no idea. Like the internal politics is not something I want to get into. I just want to respond to Mohammad Reza Pahlavi and his comment because people have said that this was anti-Semitic, and it was absolutely not anti-Semitic. He was basically saying that the interests of certain American lobby groups might not necessarily be to the benefit of Israel, and that's his opinion. That's a criticism, just like anything else. But the jihadis and the Durkas and the pro-Pali movement and the anti-Pahlavi people, as they usually do, they'll take a clip out of context and then blow it up into something much bigger than it actually is. But yeah, I've seen that.
Because I'm not going to say that part. I'm going to focus on the Iran part, which is Mohammad Reza Shah. And I'm going to say his prediction came true. He was completely right. And it took a while for people to see that. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Roman Viking. And also, one thing more about Mohammad Reza Shah is that that comment actually shows that he was pro-Jewish because he was concerned about the interest of Israel. Like, if you listen to his comment, people are like, oh, this is anti-Jewish. But he's showing concern for the interests of Israel. So how could that be anti-Jewish? Okay. Father of Chaos, thank you so much for the super chat saying, I agree with Texan. It's hard to watch negotiations seem to go nowhere. The internal damage is causing. That helps ease the pain. The internal damage is causing. That helps ease the pain. Yeah, so you can see where it's going. It's not, guys, nothing has happened right now yet to the benefit of the Islamic Republic. So far, everything we have seen so far with the signature is damage to the Islamic Republic so far. So going forward, we're going to maybe see more damage and some things in the benefit of the Islamic Republic. And then we're going to analyze if the damage is more than the benefit. But so far, even with this already, the digital signature, so far we've seen more damage than benefit. And we'll judge as we go forward. Hal Zion with the super chat saying Trump's problem isn't the civilian casualties, it's the optics of collapsed apartment blocks. Well, okay, but Hal Zion, go back to listen to it. He says, "What? Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna go back and listen to it. I'm not gonna keep dragging that apart. Okay, but thank you for the super chat." Again, if you want to discuss this more in detail, let's go to the, we could talk about this later in the discussion group or somewhere else. But yeah. But thank you for the super chat. Fuchsa is saying, Armin, you make too much sense. Do you have TDS? Yeah, it's interesting because I get accused of having TDS and also being a sycophant of Trump at the same time. So I don't know how it could be have both. Is it does that mean that I'm doing it right if I get accused of having TDS and being a Trump sycophant at the same time, or does that mean that I'm getting it wrong on both sides? What do you guys think? Yeah. You know, guys, what I try to do is to keep us united against our enemies. Okay, that's what I try to do, and I also try to judge whether what I'm doing helps the Islamic Republic or hurts the Islamic Republic. And sometimes I'm going to fail, but that's my goal. If you try to make sense of what I'm trying to do, that's my goal. And I think like if you lean like if we have two types of conversation on our camp and you lean too much on one side, then you're going to lose half of us. You know, we have to find a way that we have to find a way to include both sides of this conversation in our battle, because we need all of us against the Islamic Republic. William, thank you so much for the super chat saying the critics are forgetting that the sandwich model. Yeah, well, I appreciate William that you're actually trying to promote the sandwich model. Okay, so is it becoming a thing? I'm trying to make it a thing here. Thank you, William. I mean, I knew it was already a thing, but I'm trying to make it anyways. I am Borini, thank you so much for the super chat saying I disagree with your analysis. Bibi will benefit from this as an external threat, will force the Israelis to rally around Bibi. Trump will benefit as the American public will see his humanitarian side. Maybe you're right. I'm just reporting to you what I'm seeing in Israel, okay? Because I'm also in touch with a lot of Israelis. So maybe what you're saying will become true in the future, but as of right now, it's doing the opposite. And maybe you're right. Maybe they will have a long-term benefit, but right now is not good. Right now, as we're speaking, I'm not even predicting the future. I'm just describing to you what's happening now. And thank you for the super chat. And Fleshy saying, Armin, you are a leader. Oh wow, really? Okay. Well, join my army, the Armin's army. Come to the discussion group. That's where we're raising an army. Thank you, Fleshy. I appreciate your vote of confidence. It means a lot to me. Nacho is saying Qatar is the problem, and the Islamic Republic not even doing that. Let Qatar and Saudi buy the universities and spread radical Islam across the world does no good. Yeah, Qatar has been a major source of spreading poison around the world. Major source. It's really bad. I think a lot of people don't understand how bad Qatar is, how bad their influence is. And thank you. Omin is saying, Armin, please, this is obvious mind game. So Iran signs the deal and uranium can be extracted, leaving the regime with no leverage for the final boom booms. Don't create Trump hate. I didn't create Trump hate. I think, as Goldie said, criticizing somebody is not attacking them. And also, I'm the one who told you guys that all of these mind games are all of this, the negotiations and the ceasefire and everything is so that they could extract the uranium. Like, I think you got that. I think you're repeating what I'm telling you guys, right? This could be both true at the same time. It could be true. This statement that this is an attempt to get the enriched uranium out is true, could be true, and we could appreciate that. While saying that these statements are not fair to Israel, these two don't negate each other. Both of these could be true at the same time, right? So me saying that, oh, this is unfair to Israel does not negate that point that you're making over there. And I don't think I don't think me coming out and saying, guys, if you want to criticize President Trump, make sure you do it respectfully. Make sure you demonstrate how grateful you are to President Trump with regards to everything he has done with the Islamic Republic. Make sure you do the sandwich model. I don't think me saying all of that suggests that I'm trying to not create hate against President Trump, but I'm also wanting to guys, there's so many people among us here that want that criticism because they're frustrated. And if you don't acknowledge that, then we are going to get divided. I'm going to lose them completely. We need to acknowledge those criticism, or else so many of the people who are on our side, who are frustrated and they feel like we're living la la land and we don't see what they're saying, they're going to abandon us and we're going to get divided. So we need to show appreciation to President Trump and everything he has done. I mean, Khamenei is dead. May I remind all of you, we should show that, while at the same time hear that criticism and make sure that we have room for it, or else the frustrated people are going to completely give up on us. And thank you, Amit, for the super chat. Sketch for the super chat saying threat equals we will let Syria something Hezbollah, Israel is too soft. Okay, maybe okay, Sketch, I don't know what you're saying, so you could tell me in the discussion group later today. Agent, thank you so much for the super chat saying, hate to say, but is Trump organization corrupt, playing the record stock market and SpaceX IPO, etc., then will sell right before the changes his mind again? So this is an allegation that requires evidence, and I think without any evidence, people are coming up with these assumptions. And I'm not saying, I think that if just putting an accusation out there requires a lot of evidence, right? So I think without evidence, you could just a claim without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. That's what I say. And just because something could be true, that doesn't mean that it should be taken seriously, right? There needs to be evidence for it, or else without evidence, I wouldn't believe it, right? Siva with a super chat, thank you so much, saying, what do you think Rubio is thinking? I have no idea. I think Rubio is thinking Rubio is trying to get trying to figure out how to make President Trump's vision when it comes to fighting against the Islamic Republic become reality in the most efficient way. I think Rubio, even though he might have his own way of doing things, he understands that he's working right now in President Trump's cabinet. So whatever his methods would be needs to take a back seat, and he needs to do his job as a member of the cabinet of President Trump. So he's thinking of how he could, he understands President Trump's vision, and he's thinking to himself, how could I be the most effective in bringing that about? Even if he would do it differently, personally. Hell Zion with a super chat saying, listen, Goldie and Armin, you need to understand the mindset behind the statement. Trump genuinely believes only Arab strongmen can solve problems with Arab terrorists because Arabs are less critical of other Arabs. Well, I mean, I don't know how you know what President Trump is thinking, but what I do know is that nobody has managed to fight back against Arab strongmen better than Israel. I mean, Israel at its very foundation, Israel on day one of its foundation fought against six Arab armies at the same time and won. On day one of Israel's creation, Israel's first day as a modern nation state, first day. So day one is your birthday. Day two is your first day on earth as a modern nation state. You get 6 armies coming into your land, trying to completely wipe you out, and you defeat them. So I think Israel knows how to deal with Arab strongmen better than other Arab strongmen. And thank you for the super chat. Omi, thank you so much for the super chat, saying even the Arab guy is looking at Trump as if to say, come on, we know you don't mean this. What game are you playing? Okay, Omi. Thank you for the super chat. Well-educated idiot is saying it scares the regime scares the regime, Giuliani will commit atrocities with no international backlash and criticism that Israel receives. Yet, I mean, that might be the case. However, at the same time, it's true that nobody would be as effective as Israel against Hezbollah. So, Giuliani might be able to attack Hezbollah with less, limitations and standards than that Israel imposes on itself. But even with those self-imposed limitations and moral standards that Israel has, even with those limitations, Israel is still far superior than any army in the Middle East. And guys, no army is more feared than the IDF in the Middle East. Okay, if you think Giuliani is scary to other terrorists, if every terrorist fears the IDF more than anything else in the Middle East. Thank you so much for the super chat saying, I agree with Armin. This is crazy. It's not crazy. I mean, I don't want to say that. I think we should mind our language with regards to President Trump, because I think if calling it crazy helps our enemies, right? I think our criticism should be respectful, right? Saying this is crazy, President Trump all of a sudden is selling Israel to Muslim Brotherhood. I don't think that's what I think that's an exaggeration. To Muslim Brotherhood, which Erdogan and Qatar kissing up Emir of Qatar, it just doesn't make sense. So again, I don't even think President Trump would be able to sell Israel. Guys, let me actually tell you something. As we're speaking, as we're like looking at this, what language President Trump is using about Israel, behind the scenes, there's a bill being passed that is integrating the Israeli army and U.S. military more than ever before. So that shows that U.S. policy is moving closer to Israel, even with this language right now being used. This language is surface level. And guys, you'd be like, well, Armin, if it's surface level, then why don't you like it? Because surface level has impact. Like in geopolitics, surface level, it doesn't go without impact, right? But it is also true that United States policies, and if you look at the military cooperation and policies, is moving more towards Israel, not against Israel. So we could judge the surface level language and see the impact of it and criticize it or support it. But if you actually look at policy level and military level, Israel and United States are becoming more intertwined, not less. And honestly, these countries, you think like the Qatar and the UAE, like they are nothing from a military perspective. They have nothing. Like, how could you guys, at the end of the day, this is the objective material reality on the ground is that anything in the Middle East militarily has to be done with Israel. There's absolutely no other force in the Middle East and or around that and in North Africa that could even compete with the military power of Israel. So no matter what people say, no matter how much you talk about nicely about Erdogan or Qatar, there's like United States is bound by the physical laws of the universe. You cannot just violate like the idea, like where is the military force that you could be relying on to help shape any image that you have in the Middle East other than what you have with Israel. So one way or another, no matter how much nicely we talk about Erdogan or Qatar or whatever, we always, US policy will always have to come back to relying on Israel because there's just no other choice. And thank you for the super chat. William with a super chat saying, Bibi doesn't have to follow a contract he hasn't signed. Exactly. Completely agree with that. It's a courtesy to our president. He has the duty to defend his people as he sees fit. Exactly. And he has made that clear that he's not going to let this agreement hold him back. Okay, we need to go through these super chats faster because I only have 10 minutes. Oh my God, how am I going to finish all this? Okay, I'm going to be late for our discussion group. Thank you guys for all the support. Sarah saying, consider that Trump has more facts than we do. Exactly, good point. Push-ups saying, Vance going on Megyn Kelly later. Weird. Yeah, I don't like her. I don't like Megyn Kelly. Halda is saying, America is having a serious anti-Israel Zionist Jewish issue. Trump is feeding that. Not good or acceptable. I think saying he's feeding that is an exaggeration. Even I think like that is one of those statements that might help the Islamic Republic. I think that might be an exaggeration. Yep, this is me being late. But guys, if you disagree with me, come and talk to me. Auntie K, Florida, saying, "Hey kids, Auntie is nurse today. I want both of you to consider taking a day off from all of this." I don't even know what that looks like. I'm just kidding. Yes. Constant consumption makes your mind weary and tired. Give yourself and your people a break. All my love to you both. Well, thank you, Auntie K. Thank you for caring for us enough to say that. Ohana speaks with a super chat saying, "Armin and Goldie, I'm 100% MAGA from the deep south. Many of us stand with you. More Americans are speaking up every day. Keep fighting. We'll keep the pressure on. Save me a dance in Tehran when Iran is free. Much love." Oh, thank you. That's such a beautiful message.
Thank you.
We need more beautiful messages like these. Thank you. This gives us energy and motivation. Thank you. And we will. Senti super chat saying, "Love you, Goldie. Praying for all Iranians and Iran's freedom." Well, thank you. That's very sweet.
Thank you.
Oh, you're from India. Hey, India. Thank you for all the support from India. Boboism with the super chat saying, "Trump is saying let Durka fight Durka." Yes. Oh my God, man, can you imagine that? Yeah, I mean, I can. What are we talking about? It's only the thing that has happened for the past 1400 years. Senti with a super chat, F, also from India. Hi, India, saying, "Love you, Armin. Praying for all Iranians and Iran's freedom." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Senti. I appreciate that. And then Coffee Aspirin with a super chat saying, "Last thing I want to see is Trump and Netanyahu fight." Yep, yeah, I don't want to see that either. Hopefully, most of it is just good cop, bad cop. Asian Anderson with a super chat saying, "Trump wants, 7 4 years 800." Okay, I have no idea what that is, and I'm just gonna leave it for people who could understand this. And yeah, if you know, you know, and I don't know. Gubertina with a super chat saying, "Together we win, divided we fall." Bapish. Yes, Bapish. Exactly. Keep the unity, guys. Keep the unity. Hold the line. And Jail Star Struss is saying, I strangely still have faith. Statecraft equals complex. Oh, okay. I strangely have faith. Statecraft is complex. Okay. Yes, it is. Cat Nod with a super chat saying, "Trump just scaring Hezbollah, threatening to send HTS and al-Shara after them. Al-Shara has his hands full in Syria. He's not going into Lebanon. It's just a threat to keep Hezbollah in line and mess with their heads." So I completely see that. Cat, and I see the benefit of that. I just hope we could do that without saying anything, without making statements against Israel. So I hope let's try to find ways to do that without without making statements against Israel. But yeah, I completely agree that I see the benefit of that. Coffee Aspirin, another one from India. Well, thank you, Coffee Aspirin, saying, "We are treating USA like a parent who is disappointed of his child that has got 95 instead of 98%. USA flattened Islamic regime's defense and command, never before in history." I completely agree with that. Even if you have criticism for President Trump, you always have to keep that in mind and speak with that context in mind. Very, very well put. Karen with a super chat saying, I can't believe my own eyes. I love Trump, but I don't love what he said about Israel. He better be careful talking like that about our best ally." So I mean, I don't like that language either. I understand that there might be a bigger plan at play here, but I have to be honest. I don't like that language against Israel. Mark, thank you so much for the super chat saying, he didn't say they killed civilians. He said civilians live in the apartment blocks. They're bombing. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point, Mark. And they had every right to do so, because if there's terrorists in that building, then that building is worth less than the lives of the people that those terrorists kill. So if you have a building with terrorists inside and not civilians, then bring down that building. Lives matter more than buildings, right? So I think if you're completely right, and with that context, I think they should bring down that building anyways if there's terrorists in there. And thank you for the super chat. Push-ups for the super chat saying, from Trump interview with New York Times, it seems like China threatened to run the blockade. Maybe this is all to avoid standoff with China. I don't think so. I think maybe you're right. We'll see. Maybe you're correct. I do think that we're going to see a lot of benefits, a lot of more political capital for President Trump once oil prices. Guys, I do think that more people need to pay attention to U.S. internal politics, and remember, everything needs to. Even if you have criticism for President Trump, everything would be far worse if Democrats take over. So one thing people need to keep in mind is that so many of the things that people criticize President Trump for is because President Trump needs to deal with the internal politics to make sure that the Democrats don't get the upper hand. And if Democrats do get the upper hand, your criticism for President Trump will be meaningless, because with the Democrats, it will be 100 times worse. So a lot of our frustration comes from not taking into account that President Trump needs to deal with the internal politics as well. And thank you, Push-Ups, for the super chat. TP, oh my God, TP with a super chat saying, Goldie's hair is always amazing. Do the Kurds support a return of the monarchy? Yes, the Kurds do, because Kurdish Iranians are patriotic and pro-Pahlavi, just like the rest of Iranians. The separatists, the Kurdish separatists, they don't, but they're a minority of the Kurdish people in Iran. The vast majority of Iranian Kurds are patriotic, and they don't even see themselves as Kurdish first. They see themselves as Iranian first and Kurdish second, and they're patriotic and they're pro-Pahlavi. Yeah. Thank you for that super chat. Wyatt with another super chat saying, Israel is unhappy with Trump. Democrats are calling Trump Israel's puppet. This could be a stage fight for both upcoming elections. Who really knows? I do think that more people need to be understanding of the internal politics within the United States and internal politics within Israel, because a lot of people who are, when you're analyzing geopolitics, many people focus too much on foreign policy, and they don't understand that foreign policy is always a downstream of your internal policy, of your internal politics. So if you don't understand the internal politics of each country, you're not going to understand their foreign policy position. So it is important to take into account the upcoming elections in the US and Israel, to be able to make sense of what's actually happening right now. And then we have Bill with a super chat saying, wasn't the leader of Syria Al-Qaeda? Yep, Al-Qaeda. He tapped into both ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So he was like, he has experience with both, amazingly. Yeah, he did. But apparently he has now fully recovered, and he's a good person now. So they say. Nila with a super chat, Nila Rene. But guys, don't come at me. I'm just kidding. Okay, Armin, what the hell? Like, okay. Nila Rene with a super chat saying, UFC terror attack foiled by mom who reported. Oh my God, what the hell? Really? I thought UFC terror attack foiled by mom who reported son to FBI. It was planned by citizens throughout American states. PDF is destroying us. Character is key. I didn't even know that. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'm so much following on what's happening in the Middle East. I didn't even see that. I'm so sorry. Well, thank you for telling us. Holy crap. And then that with a super chat saying, Armin Saeed Qasemi-Najad does not have the text. Even Israel just got the text, and there are lots of questions about it. It's sad that Saeed Qasemi-Najad claims to have the memorandum of understanding before everyone else. Not true. Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind. Maybe you're right. So it's good to be skeptical. Saeed Qasemi-Najad, I think he's a very brilliant person that has the trust of Princess Pahlavi, but that doesn't make him flawless. I have a lot of respect for him, And if Prince Reza Pahlavi trusts him, then I trust him. But trusting him doesn't mean that I think he's flawless, right? So you are correct to, if I say like, oh, because Saeed Qasim Najjar said it, that means it's true. That's a correct criticism of me. And you're right that I have to be more skeptical about that. That's a very good point, and I accept that criticism. Tractor with a super chat saying, I don't understand what leverage is some non-extractable uranium. Oh, I don't understand what leverage is some non-extractable uranium. If it cannot be accessed, then the Islamic Republic has no leverage with it. Weird. Well, it can be accessed because the Chinese can help Islamic Republic access them, right? So even if the Islamic Republic doesn't have the tools and the know-how to access them, then the CCP does, and the CCP can, and the CCP has demonstrated to be willing to help the Islamic Republic with it resisting, Americans and Israelis. So unfortunately, given that the Islamic Republic is a proxy of the CCP, that means that they could get access to it, unfortunately. Sarah with the super chat. Okay, guys, I'm a little bit late for the discussion group, but I'm going through this fast. Sarah saying, we are united like... Wait, how do you pronounce this? Like what on what? Rice? Okay, Goldie, help me out.
We are united like white on basmati rice, baby.
Okay, I'm not. Let me see. That's probably a good combination of food. Okay. Anybody who knows what that is, that's probably a good combination of food.
Maybe white rice and basmati rice? I don't know.
A white rice. Okay. White rice. Okay, that's just a delicious combination of different food, and we're as united as that. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. And then we got another super chat from I Am Burini saying, thanks for the good show again, Armin and Goldie. My name is pronounced like the car. Lamborghini. Oh my god. Okay. That's an L, not an I. Oh my god, sorry. I Am Lamborghini. Okay. I don't know how you write Lamborghini. Okay, so I've never. Okay, so we poor people cannot afford Lamborghini, so I don't know how it's written. And thank you for the super chat. And then David O'Brien with a super chat saying, what Rubio says is what Trump feels, but he is speaking in front of others he needs. Oh, there needs to be some dots here. What Rubio says is what Trump feels, but he is speaking in front of others. He needs to sign the accords like Syria. It's BS for business reasons. Okay. You're saying there are business reasons why he's saying all of that. Okay. And thank you, David Orion, for the super chat. So I hope you're right. Because Rubio says the best things. So if you're right, then that means everything is on the right direction. Amy with a super chat. Thank you so much, Amy, is saying Trump may be thinking that Israel can keep its hands clean if the Arab nations go after the Islamists instead of them. I don't think. I think President Trump knows that Israel. I hope he knows. I think he knows that Israel will not be able to rely on Jolani attacking Hezbollah, because Israel, the whole point of Israel, the whole point of Zionism is not relying on other powers to kill your enemies. Okay. Because I think at some point Jews were like, you know what, we're done. We need to have our own country. We need to have our own modern nation state. We need to have our own military. We need to kill our enemies ourselves instead of asking other powers to do it. Right? So I think President Trump knows that Israel, even if it would be a benefit for Jolani to attack Hezbollah, Israel is not going to be like, oh, okay, you got it. Like, let me hold back. I think Israel would want to be involved. And by the way, may I remind you that Israel destroyed a huge portion of Syria's military equipment. Okay, so I don't know what they're going to be fighting with. Right after Assad fell, Israel was like, this is a good chance. And they went in and they just destroyed everything that Syria has. I mean, well, not everything, but you know what I mean. I'm here with a super chat saying, I have disagreements with quite few, but at least we all united to free Iran to get a Javicha. Yes, we are united against the Islamic Republic. We are united for the Iranian people. We are united for the United States. We are pro-American here. We're pro-Israeli here. We are pro-Pahlavi here. We are pro-Iranian people here. We're anti-Islamic Republic here. Okay. Every time we see we're disagreeing, let's come back to that. Let's just list that together. Like, okay, we're on the same team here. We're on the same team here. We might have different analysis. We might have different takes, but we're on the same team here. Good reminder, Amir. And oh wait, I remember you told me how to pronounce your name, Fuxa. So sorry for mispronouncing it today because you told me. Yeah, I think it's Fuxa. Yes, saying what's wrong with using that language? It's just a meaningless insult. Nobody was hurt. Israel was here before Donald J. Trump and will be here long after. Love. I don't know what language you're talking about. Oh, the language that President Trump is using. Well, I mean, let's discuss that in our discussion group. If you actually look at the internal, what Israelis, here's the thing. When it comes to Iran, people come listen to me and Goldie and other Iranians, right? So when it comes to Israel, I'm listening to Israelis, right? So I go to Israelis and I try to learn from their politics, and I can see you're Israeli. But the thing is that most Israelis that I'm talking to who are pro-United States, pro-Zionist, even the pro-Bibi, anti-Bibi Israelis, I'm getting that this is causing a lot of, anxiety and, I'm not going to list them right now, but this is my impression that I'm getting from all the Israelis that I'm talking to, right? So if you have a different impression of what's happening, especially given that you're Israeli as well, then I want to hear from you. Okay, I would love to hear from you. I would like to be educated by you guys, right? Guys, remember, every position that I have, I'm not married to it. I would love to be corrected by you guys. I'm not married to it. I could easily, if you tell me like, Armin, this position is wrong, and here's the reason, and I look at it and I get convinced by it, I'm proud of being able to change my opinions like that. I let go of my ego and try to, just hold my opinions based on what's fact. And Tom, this is the perfect last super chat. Saying if you go to school, you're cool. Because he's talking about our group discussion. All right, guys. Tom is right, and thank you, Tom. So, guys, the reason why he's saying that is because our group discussion is on this platform called School. So, Liberty Politics Discussion Group. Let me put the link to our discussion group. We're going to be discussing all of this and more. I think today is going to be a very, very, big day. It's going to be, a lot of people are going to have a lot of opinions today. So either come and watch, join our discussion group and add your opinion, or if you can't, then just on Liberty Politics, we're going to be live streaming it. And as soon as I go inside, I'm going to be live streaming on Liberty Politics, so you could watch it there. So the link to the discussion group has been posted just right now in the chat. The link is in the QR code at the top right, and the link is also in the bio section of Liberty Politics YouTube channel. So come there. We're going to have a group call, and the group call is easily accessible either on this link, or if you check the calendar, you could see the group call that we have for today, and it's this one. Or if you just want to listen to us discuss, then come to Liberty Politics and watch us have our discussion over there. And that's what I'm going to be doing right now. But Goldie, what are you going to be doing later today?
I'm going live a bit earlier today because there's a number of topics I want to talk about. So I'm going live at 5 p.m. to talk about the FIFA match last night, because we didn't really get to that today. But that's very important when it comes to the Iranian Revolution. So I'll be speaking about that at 5 p.m. I have a lot of footage. I'm going to talk about the lawsuit and very spicy stuff. So I'll see some of you guys at 5 p.m. in about 2 hours.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Goldie. And guys, make sure you subscribe to both channels. Oh, Goldie told me not to do whatever you want. Don't. I take that.
No, I'm saying no. You can definitely say, yeah, guys. Like everyone, make sure you subscribe to Armin's channel. Help him get to 100,000 followers. Like, let's help Armin hit the 100K mark.
Thank you, Goldie. Goldie, you're always so nice to me. You know, I really appreciate you.
Amazing.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Well, you're late for your group discussion,
Yes.
so you got to go to that.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Thank you, Goldie. Okay. All right, guys. So this was our show. Same time tomorrow on another episode of Iran Revolution Live. And until then, I'm Israel Chai. Long live America.
God bless America.
Javi Shah.
Payande
Iran.
See you guys soon.
غرق انقلاب است.
کشور ما تاریخ ما در سیدگر فرا گرفته گویی اهورا مستا دوباره در نور خود مرا گرفته اشکون سرودی سر میدهم باز فارغ از رنج و تشویش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش هن ای پدر هن ای پسر برخیز و با ما شو همگام تا درد آن تجربه تلخ ما را نکشیده در آب بگذار هر دم بغرند گرگ‌ها دم لباس میش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش ای کارگر ای برزگر راحت کنون ادامه دارد در این زمان که پرتو یزدان از هر سو بر تو میبارد پس پیش به سوی آزادی از بحر خزر تا کیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش خلقا به پا بهر دفاع از استقلال و آزادی تا بشکنیم پشت ارتجاع تیریزی ایران آبادی تا زنده سازیم سنت‌های می از من بالین و کیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش
با امید روزی که تمام این دلبشو و انقلاب تموم بشه و ما در روشنایی نور و سعادت مردم کشورمون غرق بشیم
نه خارجی نه بیگانه نه مستشارهای ویرانی نه چیر خاران نه کاسلیسان فقط هم رزمان ایرانی با شرافت میهنی بسازی بهر فرزندان خویش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش مردان بیایی داخل صف ما اکنون که آغاز رویاست دشمنان بدانی ما زنده هستی بعد از ما هم ایران پابرجاست آن روح شیطان ما را فریب داد با صد شعار مردمیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش به پیش به پیش ایران غرق انقلاب است به پیش پرچم ایران غرق خون شهیدان روی شانه هامان حمل میکنیمش در هر خیابان و میدان تا ماسک دلغکان را برداریم از روی تسبیح و ریش